Yourself?
Good. So how are you guys doing right now? Are you busy?
Yeah. It's sort of steady, so that's good. Ramped up a bit, and it went quiet for the start, I guess, and then yeah, we kept battling through.
Yeah.
So, mm.
How hard did Corona stuff hit over there?
uh, I think bigger, more populated areas, the bigger printers might have saw a bit more of a hit, but
Yeah.
we're pretty lucky. I think we seem to have dodged the bullet so far. So,
Yeah.
have you seen any issues with stock availability or?
Um, Not really. I think the biggest thing that's kind of affected us has been just like shipping times.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
stuff from the distros and all that stuff seemed to take way longer. Tell me a little bit about life and printing in Australia.
Uh, where do I start? What do you want to hear? How I started printing or?
Yeah. Let me know how you
Yep.
started.
Yep. All right. I finished school and didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't feel like going to uni. I think I had enough of studying for a bit, and I just got used to the whole lifestyle of going to the beach every day. So I think my mum worked at a sportswear factory, and she ended up getting me a job. Come home one day and said, I got you an interview. You're going to be a screen printer. So I raced down to the library and grabbed a couple of books because I'd never done it. She told them I'd screen printed before. So I went down, crash course. It was all old. It must have been like 1970s books. And I thought, geez, what am I doing? And I walked in there and I said, now, whatever you know about screen printing, forget about that. We want you to do it our way. And I said, done. So
Yeah.
I basically got 2 weeks on the job training and went from there. We printed sportswear, apparel, hockey, basketball uniforms,
Yeah.
netball. Yeah. And so I pretty much went straight into, I think it was early on, straight into printing our representative Australian women's basketball team uniforms, and they're like, "Don't stuff it up."
Yeah. So it was all like polyester items and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of poly, lycra. Yeah, it's
It's kind of
spandex
like a
stretch material.
Yeah, it's kind of like a challenging thing to start with, printing wise. It's good that
Yeah,
you learned that
yeah, but I
first.
think, yeah, exactly. I think that sort of it set the way for the future. I've talked to other printers that refuse to touch stretch wear,
Yeah. I don't
and
like
that's,
doing it.
yeah, and that's my bread and butter. So I did 14 years of doing that. So
So when
um,
did you decide after that to start your own thing?
uh, look, I sort of jumped around. Now that job there, we moved to digital, but we're a little bit slow on the take. And then we moved into dye sublimation, and I stuck around there for a bit. But my bosses actually decided to had a retirement plan, and I figured I'd stick it out with them until they went. And
Hmm.
in the meantime, I was working on what I'd do afterwards, and I just started doing more work for myself, for friends and local clubs from home. Originally, it was a little single color press that I made, and I had access to all the um, proper gear at my work. But if I wanted to do something at home, I had a
You
mini
made you
setup with.
made your first press?
Yeah, we I made one out of a Lazy Susan. It was all timber, springs, and got a mate to weld up some clamps. I don't even know what. I think they might have been made out of an old filing cabinet, like the frame work. And
That's
and they were
awesome.
the arms. Yeah, until one day one of the pieces of wood split and nearly hit me in the head. Yeah,
Like a spring threw it at you.
exactly. Yeah. So it's yeah. So that's where I sort of had to. Uh, I guess it got to a point where they was finally going to sell. I was doing 8 hours there, 8 hours at home every day, and it was taking its toll. So
Yeah.
it was kind of good when everything finished up, and I was a little bit worried at the start whether I'd have enough to
Right.
keep going, and it ended up I was working 14, 16 hours a day just on my own stuff. So
Yeah. I feel like
kind of the way it went.
once you get your own thing going, you kind of are ultra motivated and, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it freed. I guess it freed myself up to try a few new things as well. So,
Yeah.
and with that came interest in, halftone work. I didn't do a whole lot of it on Lycra because it just when it's under stretch, it just doesn't have the same effect as on a t-shirt. So
Right.
yeah, so I had to sort of learn that here.
How did you go about learning all that stuff?
Research just online, YouTube. I even came across a thesis that someone's done. If you search deep into the web,
Really?
I'll have to try and find it. Yeah, yeah, and they actually did a study on halftones, and yeah, I come across that, read through it, and then it was all a matter of trying it out.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
No, I would definitely be
yeah,
interested in hearing about that
yeah.
thesis
I'll
or
try
whatever.
and find it. Yeah, yeah, um,
Well, that's the kind of like I had that like a note in here to talk to you about that because like no joke, like you probably have some of the best like manual printing I've ever seen.
yeah. Right.
Like for real, like
Thank
not
you.
trying to blow smoke up your ass, dude, but like
Yeah.
the stuff that you do manually is crazy to
Yep.
me. Like we printed years manually. I mean, it was just I guess it's a skill set. Like when you
Yep.
get to do blends and process prints and stuff like that, but just like the stuff you're cranking out on the manual to me is just like,
Yeah.
dude, it's awesome.
Yeah. It helps. It helps having good art to
Yeah.
start with. Definitely, that's without that, um, yeah, who knows what level I'd be at. But
Yeah.
I think what's been good is I've sort of fed off the artists as well, and they come to me with something so out there. I got to work out how to get that onto a
Yeah.
t-shirt. So,
Yeah.
and you want to do it justice. So
Are they giving you good steps or are you stepping the whole thing yourself?
I step it as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've tried all the programs out there, and they weren't quite up to it for what
Yeah.
I wanted. And then I would take elements, basically how they work, watching other step artists on YouTube. I might pull how I do an underbass from one artist, from one YouTube video, and vice versa through a highlight, and then I've just played around with that. And I think the benefit for me is whatever art that comes to me, I separate, and I'm also the printer. So I
Yeah.
get to see firsthand what doesn't work
Hmm.
and what actually works. So, and then
Yeah.
from that, I've got a little black book. I write down, this shade of blue was too dark.
Right.
So I
Or
can
like
go always
this
go
color
back.
has more dot gain than others and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. So
Yeah.
then I'll try different things, different screen meshes, thinning out the ink, or different techniques. So.
Yeah. We ran into
Mm.
that too. Brian, who does all our steps, he was a printer first.
Yep.
So he does that all the time. He takes stuff into account knowing how it's going to print. And I feel like that's a huge advantage Because if you
massive.
just have a guy who just learned how to do SEPs but never prints, he's
Yep.
just going to do it by the book, and then it's not going to print. It's not going to look like you think it is going to look like. So
No, that's right. Yeah, and I still every print there's something new I've picked up, and I'll implement it in the next bit of art. So it's an ongoing process.
yeah,
You know, the other day I did a design. I went, that ink color didn't quite work. Like you say, dot gain was an issue on that one. So how I had to work out how I combat that at press to get through the job. But in the future, how do I stop that from happening altogether? So
that's awesome.
yeah. So
What do you guys
yeah.
have over there for suppliers? Like, do you have all the same inks that we have, or?
Yes and no. We've got the main one I use is Rutland, but I also use Permaset for any water-based inks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got Wilflex with all their Poly One range.
Yeah, we use Wilflex.
Yeah, okay. I used it. I've done a bit of work at other print shops as well. Sort of, if I was light on at my first job, I would go across and help other printers. So I've used Wilflex as well. I guess they're the main ones. We had a supplier for a while that was dealing in Matsui, and I enjoyed using that. But it seemed to have disappeared on us. So yeah, we're sort of at the whim of who brings it into the country a bit, but
right.
We still got good products here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've heard from other people I know around the world that it's just like they can't get their hands on certain things that they want.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like with apparel brands and stuff too. They want to use Bella or they want to use this or that, and they're like, "Oh, we can't get it." And it's just like,
yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah. We've got our own suppliers here, and again, we had a guy contact us, I think last year, and he was looking at trying to bring one of the suppliers over there to our shores, and still it was only going to be a limited range. A certain number of products, not the full catalog. So I think it hasn't really affected us. We've still got our main suppliers, AS Color. I think they're. I heard on your shirt show podcast, they mentioned them. They're massive here. So
yeah, they're definitely around and people use them here, but I don't think they're as big as like a Bella or a Next Level or something like that.
Yeah, right.
But we've definitely used it before.
Yep. How do you find it printing on it?
Good. I mean, it's not one of our usuals, but it's definitely up there. Like we have people that request it from time, and we'll use it. Yeah, it's good stuff. Are you using like a pigment system for your inks, or is it direct print out of bucket?
No, I'm pre-mixed, so it's I guess it's pigment based. It's a system with a key set number of pots that the standard colors, and then from that I'll mix up custom Pantone colors. So and it's pretty good. It's definitely helped having an ink mixing system. So
yeah, I just didn't know, sometimes people who like to play with halftones and blends and stuff like to choose different inks that have different opacities and stuff like that, or different, like if you get like an ink that has a base, you can buy like 50 different bases, so you can be like, oh, this one's more of like a not as opaque base, let's use that for this kind of printing. This I didn't know if you play around with that.
I do. I've got I must have about 5 or 6 different whites that I've developed, I guess. Myself, my initial highlight white wasn't good, but it works great on another thing, so I've kept that. And the same with my reds and yellows. I've got different opacities of them. So,
Yeah.
because they feature pretty highly in most of our artwork. A lot of it's barbecue stuff. So
Yeah, I noticed that. What's
yeah.
how did you end up in the barbecue niche?
A mate of ours was the artist Cy. He's he got into it and was doing their I guess their event T-shirts, and obviously we actually worked with them on the first one that launched in Sydney, and we did live printing down there, and that was an eye opener. We had, it was like 5 or 6,000 people through the gate each day, and 40, I don't know what that is, 40 degrees Celsius, and I'm printing with a flash unit right on top of me. It's sweating. I nearly passed out a couple of times. So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Surrounded by concrete and people. So,
Yeah. Do you do quite a bit of live printing, or just for that event?
we did at the start. I think it was definitely it got helped get our name out there, and it was really good. The feedback you get from people at the different events is it was great to finally see how a T-shirt is printed.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize what goes into it. So
it's crazy how many people don't.
yeah.
Like we do it every day, and we're like, oh yeah, duh. Like, you know, this is how you make a T-shirt. But like you said, you'll go do a live print, and it's funny how so many people don't even realize that you have the press behind you.
Yeah.
You're standing at a table and you're like, here's the shirts, and then they order, and then they see somebody like start making it, and they're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing back there?
Yeah.
Like, we're making the shirts.
Do you guys still do much of it?
Dude, we do quite a bit of it. Like, we're not one of those
Yeah,
shops that like travels, like, you know,
Yeah.
get on an airplane and shit, but like we do a lot of local like corporate events and
Yeah.
like big brew fests and stuff like that. When we first started doing it, probably like 6 or so years ago, we were doing like any event that came our way. And then we learned after that year to not fucking do that.
Yeah, it's hard work. It's
Yeah,
definitely
we like doing it, but we're really picky and choosy now about events, because
yeah.
there was a lot that you try and you realize you don't sell shit. And then
Yeah.
you get like a corporate one where they're like, hey, I've got, you know, 800 guests and I want every guest to get a shirt. It's like, those are the ones you try to do, because they always have good food, good drinks,
Yeah.
and they pay for every shirt.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you get the ones where like you have to sell and hustle the whole time. So those are the ones we're like super picky about. It's like, it has to be X amount of people there. We're like one of the only vendors, stuff like that. Like, we won't do ones anymore where it's like Apple Fest or something and there's like 55 vendors. It's like you'll sell like 10 shirts. It's like, it's not worth the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we ended up last year actually buying a whole separate rig. So now there's weekends where we'll have like one group goes to one place, one group goes to another place.
Yeah.
But I like it. I mean, my guys love it because I don't treat it as a business. Like, I don't treat it as part of Upstate other than like the branding. So like my guys, basically we go to an event and say we make like $3,000 that day. We just split it 3 ways, like between each person.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we like it.
Yeah.
So you still do some of it, or you don't do it as much anymore?
We haven't done it for a while. I've still got all the setup. We did the same. I built a box basically where everything fits inside of it, and it wheels around.
We did the exact same thing.
Yeah, because I think the first few we did the old set everything up on trestle tables, and it was the 2-hour setup initially, and then tear down. Everyone else has gone home and we're still there, So, we kind of we thought about it a bit more and went, righto, we need to streamline this, because you want it to be fun as well. So you don't want it to be too hard to work, I guess. So I
gotta say, Australia is one of those places here in the States that all we always hear about are like the most fucking like deadly creatures and animals that live there.
Right. Yeah.
How is that in your area? Do you have shit that'll
Yeah.
fucking kill you?
Yeah, but it's not as bad as what they make it out to be.
Dude,
It's
every nature show is like world's deadliest animals, and it's like they're all in Australia. Every single one of them.
they'll make you sick, definitely. We had my wife was picking up a surfboard cover, and she was pregnant at the time, and she just felt this massive sharp burning pain in her finger, and flicked her hand out and rushed straight over the sink. And I went over there with a coat hanger and picked it up, and there was a giant funnel web. And as she said, the pain was shooting up her arm. It felt like it was on fire. I raced her to the hospital. I got a glass jar and I put it near, and it went for me through the glass jar, and quickly capped it, took it to the hospital, and they said, yeah, it's a funnel web. We'll just keep it here and keep an eye on us. So, and that was it. That was, I think, if you get unlucky,
that's not funny, but
yeah,
it's like,
no, I know. Yeah,
this shit's crazy to me.
They can make you sick.
Yeah, we have nothing where I'm at. Like literally, there's nothing that's at all crazy.
Yeah,
like, we have like normal shit, like fucking like deer and like snakes that are like tiny, and like tiny spiders. And it's like, oh no, go here. And there's like a spider that's like fucking as big as my head. It's like, nah, no thanks. Oh, nothing to do with that.
They look menacing too because they're jet black. They're shiny, glossy jet black. And they just look like they'll hurt you.
Awesome.
I've had a couple in the workshop. They usually come in after it's been a heap of rain. They'll come in trying to get out of the water. So,
dude, yeah. No thanks.
I've heard stories of people with them living around their toilets. So,
dude, no.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's so bad. So, do you watch like a bunch of printing stuff on YouTube? Like, are you like a print nerd like I am, where you're just constantly looking shit up?
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're always looking for that one thing that you didn't know before,
right?
And trying it. So definitely, I look through, and if there's something, the ears prick up, and I go, I'll give that a go and see what it does, and if it works, implement it.
What are some of the like videos and channels that you check out?
I've been known to. I've got a TV in the shed. I've been known to just press play and let YouTube work out, and you go deep down a rabbit hole. So I couldn't even tell you who half the videos were made by, but I've done the same as everyone else with the cat spit and writing out videos and check them out.
There's only I feel like there's only a good like 10 or 15 channels that are decent, and then there's a lot of really weird ones where you're like, whoa, somebody made this video.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's I think you could definitely they are helpful, what's there, but I don't know. I think practical is the best way to learn.
It's definitely one of those things that just comes with like doing it for a long time. I feel like there's so much stuff that's you can't even explain to somebody. That's just kind of like a feel, you know what I mean? Or like you manually printing, like the pressures and the way you print and how many strokes and floods and stuff like that. I feel like it's just stuff that you have to learn on your own, and you can't really show somebody.
Yeah, I've had that same conversation with a guy that's helped us out with printing, and I was trying to get across. There was a print there, and he said, why is this doing this? I'm trying to explain it, but it's a combination of angle and pressure, and I would get on in the same press and do the same print and straight away, and then I'm trying to go over it in my head. How do I tell them how I just did that?
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's like anything, I guess, breathing, walking, it's something you pick
Plus
up.
it's just one of those things where there's like an endless amount of variables, like different ink types, different, like could be the humidity in the room, or like there's just so many things. I feel like it's just so hard to narrow it down all the time.
That's the biggest thing, I think, was controlling some of the variables to work out. When I did my time with dye sublimation printing, and that's next level. You could have a day where it's fine and dry, and then a storm rolls in, and the prints that you're pushing out in the morning working, and then in the arvo they're not. It's just it's frustrating, but it's something I'd never really want to go back into. I've done my time. I reckon that's where the grey hairs come from.
Yeah, for sure. Do you see yourself just doing what you're doing and just doing manual stuff, or are you planning on growing more and getting an auto and all that stuff?
Look, I'd love to continue growing. I don't have any plans of being the biggest print shop out there. It's more about the quality of the printing I put out. If I don't want to wear it, I won't expect anyone else to. So.
I super appreciate hearing that from people, like, because that's how I feel too. Like I just grew to where I am because that's where I want to be, and I just don't, I just want to make awesome shit, and I feel like you're the same way, just from what I see, like you do. And like I said, in talking to you now, it seems like you just enjoy making badass prints. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so if it leads down the path of a manual auto setup, then so be it. But at the moment,
well, you can't grow out of your current shop because you fucking have so much shit on the walls now,
mate. It's on the roofs. So, it's when I cover this, it's time to get out. So.
That's how you know.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Are you putting like a board behind the print and then hanging that?
It's all for sale signs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you use a bit of table adhesive and a t-shirt.
I love it. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it initially started out as a way of showing customers that come in. They were like, what do you call it?
Like a showroom?
So they could see the print. More like a little swatch, basically.
Oh, okay.
So here, this is what a halftone looks like. This is what this color ink looks like without an underbase, and so that was how it started, and then went from there. And now it's literally
it's everywhere.
Yeah. We're engulfed in it. So.
It's so cool. Yeah, a lot of people that just hang shirts end up just hanging like actual shirts, or they do like a cutout out of it and like tack it to the wall. Yours are like perfect squares, all perfectly put together.
Yeah, and then I just stick it where they go. So real thought.
Do you feel like, because I've kind of ran into this a few times, like you were talking about that artist that got you into doing like the barbecue stuff and stuff like that. Do you find that working with specific artists opens the door to like other big things? Like
Absolutely,
you've probably been noticed by some good customers by like doing those really cool designs for that guy.
No, definitely. It's something that we build a relationship up now to the point where without him, I wouldn't be where I am now. Skill wise or business wise, it's we sort of work off each other, and from him, yes, definitely we picked up other artists, people he's friends with, people he works with, and so we're we're luckily in a position where just meeting each other has helped. I think it's helped both of us. So,
yeah.
And yeah, but we definitely, I think, with in terms of open the door for other artists, it absolutely has done that. It showcases to them that, you know, this is what we can do. We keep pushing and bouncing off each other. You know, some of the work we do together, he'll hand me a black and white image and then I will render it with color in Photoshop. And,
oh, really?
And then I go back to him and say, what do you reckon? And then he'll fill me in what we should do. And
do you do
anything I've missed? So.
Do you do any art yourself?
Not so much now. It's more of a time thing.
Right.
I try to, but we really like being able to, I guess, include all the other. There's a heap of local talent just in our area. So, and we like to pass on work to them. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got someone will come to us with a design, and I'll sort of have a think about the style, and then be able to refer them on to what artists I think would hit it on the head. So
yeah, no, we kind of do the same thing. We just have like multiple artists all over the place that we know that's like their specific skill set. So we give it to them, and it's definitely like people. I mean, we've talked about this before, but like people just are like, "Oh, you don't do nothing but cool art." And it's like, yeah, I fucking try. Like I try to like give as much stuff as I can to people who do awesome shit so that we have fun printing awesome shit. Like it sucks when you have to print, you know, mundane crap all day long. I mean, that stuff pays the bills. It's cool, but like it's definitely awesome when you get to print a freaking barbecue Sasquatch like the shirt you gave me.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It's I look at that now. It's on the wall over there. I'd love to go back and do some of these designs. Just in the last couple of years, how much we've evolved.
Yeah.
I look at that printing now and go, I cringe sometimes.
Well, don't cringe at that shirt, dude. It's a good shirt. I love that thing.
Yeah, the design's amazing. He just, it's the way his head works as well. I think he gets right in deep to a concept. And
no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
When I got that shirt from you, like you see like shirts online, you're like, oh, it's cool. But when you actually like physically hold it and like look at the like being a printer, looking at another printer's print, when I saw that, I was like, damn, these are fucking good halftones.
I was worried about that, sending it to, because you guys, we've sort of kept our eye on, followed you from the word go.
No, so, dude, I fucking I like it a lot. Like I said, the funny thing is when I first got it, like when you walk in our shop and you go like to the right, there's a rack of like stuff that we've printed, and people come in all the time and like look through them and see what we've done. Well, when I got that shirt from you, I remember because I opened it up and I looked at it and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like I don't want to wear this. Like I want to hang it up. Like I want to do something with it, but I don't want people to be like, oh, well, that's a really cool print you did. And I'd be like, hey, damn right. Yeah, it's a good one print I made. So like, I remember I took it into Brian, who does our steps and stuff. And I was like, dude, check this print out and stuff. It's awesome. And then I'm pretty sure I like had something to do and I folded it up and I ended up setting it up on the shelf right above where our prints are displayed. And it like a couple times now, customers came in and like looked at it and like, oh, that one's cool or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't correct them because I don't want to be like, no, that's from some other print shop. Don't go there. But we're doing renovations on the office and stuff next door. And I think I'm going to like, because I'm just like, I'm in this like Sasquatch shit and stuff like that. So I think I'm just going to like actually legit like hang it in the office somewhere. So be proud that I'm hanging it. All right. It's not in it's not going in a shelf or going in a drawer somewhere that's never going to get used.
Yeah. It's not a rag that you use.
No, it's awesome. We've definitely, I mean, I don't want to talk shit, but we've definitely gotten prints from people before that just send us stuff like without me even asking or whatever. I'll get it. I'm like, I'm never going to wear this. And then, you know what I mean? And it just sits at the shop or whatever. There's a lot of them I do wear, but it's just like once in a while you get one and it's just like, all right, I don't know what to do with this. And, you know,
cool.
I'm a printer. I have thousands of shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, we're the same.
Do you guys do a lot of local, or do you do a lot of like all over the place?
Yeah, look, it's probably half. There's a good chunk of our works come from social media like Instagram, and which has meant we branched out to, well, like Sydney's 3 hours away. So, you know, it's not just local businesses in our area. We've got Sydney, Melbourne, WA, which is the complete other side of Australia. So, yeah, it's a good mix, I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of local businesses we've had good, strong relationships with, and we work together. So Sai or one of the other good local artists will do a design for their shop, and then they'll come to us and we'll print it for them. So
yeah, definitely like make more videos like you made the other day.
Yeah, there's another one coming. So that's my wife. She does all that.
Well, tell your wife to do more.
Yep. Will do.
Dude, it was awesome. It ruled. Like I
Yeah.
saved it on my phone because I wanted to watch it later. I remember I went through it and I was like, "Fuck, I want to watch this right now," but I was like doing something, so I saved it. And I want to watch it again. But make
Which
more
one
of
was
those.
that one?
It was it a barbecue one or fucking?
The latest one.
Dude on the grill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Texas. Yeah, the Texas coleslaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. The one with you on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What
Cool.
do you have like a favorite print you've made that stands out?
So far it was that one.
Really?
That was the one. Everything was spot on. The rego could not have got any better. I sort of had it in my head, and it surpassed what I had in my head.
That's awesome.
What it would look like when I was separating it. So
that's always a good sign.
Yeah, and it like soft hand as well. Like everything about it, I was like, this is the new bar. This is where it's got to be from now on. So.
Do you have any like tips or tricks for like keeping the hand feel down with manual printing?
Look, at the moment, I've just been working with, I guess, finer mesh screens more than anything.
What are you using? Are you using like a 230, 305 or something?
Yeah. So well, here 110 to 120, 130. So yeah. I think that translates about the same. 305 is about 120. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So and look, the inks I'm using push through it fine. I think curable reducer's been something I've worked with quite a bit. Getting you don't want to use too much in your white because obviously
the opacity
together. Yeah, and it also gives it a gloss, I reckon. So
the reducer does.
Yeah, the white gets a little bit of a sheen, which I found it might have been just that particular ink mix. So I've kept that pot and said, right, a sheen white. So, yeah. So we I don't know what else. Definitely for the squeegees I use firmer than a lot. For the fine halftone stuff.
Are you using triples at all, or just a hard squeegee blade?
No, just a hard squeegee blade. I've got triples. I just found it seemed to be a more consistent print, and the squeegees over time too get a bit more pliable. So these seem to last a lot longer for that.
Are you pushing or pulling?
I push for the big ones. So it's come down to, I used to pull everything. I don't know if that was
Is it a comfort thing or like a print technique? 'Cause I know some people like
It's
to pull because it's easier on their wrists, or push
yeah.
because it's
Look,
easier on their wrists.
yeah, on the back. I went initially to the pushing because of my back,
Mm-hmm.
and then realised it had its other benefits with in terms of 250 prints in, you've got a more consistent control over the pressure than you do when your arms are that tired pulling
Yeah.
the squeegee through. So,
Have you tried any of the other like squeegee blade or squeegee handles, like the
the
ones with the
ergonomic,
handles or anything?
yeah, no, I haven't yet. Look, it's funny. I probably would enjoy it because the way I hold the squeegee anyway is sort of set off to the side.
Oh, really? Do you
For
like hold
different,
the
yeah,
corners?
a lot, like, yeah. I find that I do that. I always get bruises in the palms of my hands for long runs. So,
That's awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't print a lot. I mean, I do print, but it's more for like shit on the side or like for me to just get off from my desk. Like I end up doing a lot of tags,
Mm,
like printing neck tags and stuff like that. But like if I want to make an Upstate project or whatever, like I'll print it myself on the manual.
yep.
Action Engineering sent us their badass manual squeegee or whatever. It's like aluminum and it's got like handles on it with like rubber grips on it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I like it a lot because I feel like
Yeah.
I'm the same as you where I tend to want to hold the edge of the squeegee instead of like the
Yeah.
center and straight up and down. And that's kind
Yeah.
of how this is. It's just more in like handles than
Yeah. Right.
doing the thing. So, I mean, if you get a chance
Yeah.
to try one out, try it out.
Yeah.
But I feel like
Definitely.
you've been
Yeah.
printing for so long, it's like it'd be totally weird to try something like that versus.
Nah, look, I was printing. I'd pulled for 14 years before I even thought about pushing. So you can change.
You can teach an old dog new tricks.
You can. Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's still like it has its. I chop and change now, but definitely for those bigger halftone prints, I've found I've got more control
Mhm.
by pushing. So
Yeah. What are
yeah.
you guys using like in the screen room? Are you still doing film?
Yeah. At the moment, I'd love to get one of those eye image setups,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's film and a a light box I built, and I'm getting between 5 and 3% tone dot size. So
Yeah.
um,
Dude, it's
so you
working.
can,
Whatever you're doing is fucking
yeah,
working. So
mate,
like
it's exactly, and I'd be afraid to change it up, I think. So
yeah. Well,
it's
the thing is I can talk about this because the podcast didn't happen, but this
mm,
week I was supposed to have a podcast come out. It was with like an industry guy, and we're talking about that where basically we did film for a really long time. Like I've only had my eye image for 2 years now, somewhere
right,
around there. But same thing, we had a print that was like a horror movie mask, and it had a knife, and in the knife was like a girl screaming, and it was like really fine halftone detail and stuff. And we printed that design like 4 or 5 times for the customer,
mm,
and every time we're like, oh, this looks awesome, like this looks really good, halftone detail is awesome. And then we got the eye image, and that same week after we got the eye image, we had a reprint again of that same design, and we put it on the eye image, and then did everything the same ink, same press, same pressures, because we record all that stuff.
yeah,
And then after we printed it, we're like, holy shit, there's so many
right,
more halftone dots and detail in
yeah,
this
right, yeah,
than we thought we could get out, just because
yeah,
of
okay,
like the light undercutting that you get on like really
mm,
really fine halftone dots.
yeah,
So that for me was just like, oh man, like we could have been doing this before.
yeah, I
But that's the
know,
thing is
yeah,
you're already producing an awesome product,
yeah,
but when you get that, you as a printer, like the general customer is not going to know the difference. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That they're going to be like, this is a cool shirt. But
yeah,
for
but
you
you
as
as
a
a printer
printer, you
will,
look at it and
yeah,
you're like, fuck.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
shit, I should have been doing this ages ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Mm,
definitely an awesome thing, but like definitely get it when you're
yeah.
ready.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. At the moment, I think when we move out into a bigger space, we will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got a shopping list.
Yeah, pretty much everything in pre-press for me, we did all at once. Like we did the Unicoat, we did the new exposure, and the eye image, and it was one of those things where it was a game changer. It was like, dude, we should have done this so long ago. Just because it's uniformity and it takes the human error out of everything. Like coating a screen, every screen is perfectly coated the exact same way.
Yeah.
Like I said, it doesn't matter if you were tired the night before or whatever, like whoever's coding. And then with the eye image, there's no glass on the exposure. So there's literally no pinholes anymore at all because your screen was coated perfect. And then there's no dust on the glass, no nothing.
Yeah. So
it's just like when you get all them together, you're just like, damn it. Like, this is glorious.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Not that I want to rub it in your face or anything, but
no, not at all.
It's sweet though. I'm just letting you know how good it is.
What's ahead? Yeah.
If you could go back in time, would you do anything differently?
Good question.
I mean, you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. 98 I started.
Do you think like learning the SEP stuff sooner would have been?
Yeah, because I enjoy that as well. I'd love to catch up with other SEP artists out there too, and I feel like it's probably wrong how I'm doing it, but it seems to be working. But
no, dude.
It'd be cool to, again, like with printing, like getting their ideas how they do it.
Yeah.
It's
like me with this, like with the podcast or like just going to trade shows and stuff. It's just that, like you said, it's like you can comb the internet and watch like 1,000 videos, and it's the littlest things that you pick up in there that's just like, fuck, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed to get me to do this other thing. And it's the same with us. Like when we do SEPs and stuff like that, like before we got the eye image too, people were like, oh, what RIP software do you use? And we were like, we don't use one.
No.
Like we just print them directly from Photoshop. We're picky with how we do our SEPs, and we pick exactly what we want the dot to look like and the frequency, all that stuff when we make it, and then we just print it directly. Like we're not using a RIP. And it's the same thing like you said, like I'm probably doing it wrong. It's like, no, dude, you're not fucking doing it wrong. You're doing what works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously it's working.
Yeah.
So I feel like people need to hear that. It's like this whole thing we're doing is an art form, and it's like however you do it your own way, as long as the end product is badass and the customers love it, it's like just keep doing what you're doing, dude.
Sweet.
He's like, all right, good, yes, check.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah. That's cool. It's actually good to. Sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's actually good to this. I think this podcast has been massive in realizing that there's a lot of common ground, I think, in, a print shop like ours, which effectively is a home run garage, even though it's set up like a proper print shop. We're still a garage, compared
the thing is
yourself. So
like I feel like we all grew through the same shit. It's just people don't like to talk about it to a degree because they don't want to act like they're better than the other guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You always want to be the better print shop. You always want to be this and this, but it's like, why can't we all be like buddies at a bar that are just like, that sucks, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You want to talk shit about it because you do it every day. You want to be like, hey, like, I go through that too. Yeah, that fucking sucks.
Exactly. No, I think that's what's been good about it.
Well, it's just like, I'm not expecting random ass people to watch this or listen to this. I'm expecting like other print dudes to be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I put it on the first one I listened to. I was like screen prepping day, and I ended up sitting down. I got no work done. I was just like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I've never
See,
been able to talk to anyone.
That's my master plan. My master plan is for all these other printers to get so into it that
Just
they
stop
sit
working.
down and stop printing,
Yep.
and then my shop takes over.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
you're catching on now.
There you go. There's the whole
it's a master plan.
It's brilliant. Very cool.
So what's next for you then? Anything different in the plans, or are you just gonna keep riding?
Just keep cruising for now. We got a young family, so it's the whole reason why we're here operating from home is a lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
I never would have seen the kids if,
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
It's going to be busy wherever we were. So
how does that work out for you? Do you set certain hours to print, or do you just print when you're available?
It's definitely print when I'm available. I do a lot of hours early before the rest of the world gets up, or late. It depends. When.
Well, you're in the future for me, so you're fucking already way ahead of me.
Yeah, and I've already done like 4 hours. So
you're into the next day, dude.
I'm in front.
I have to go to bed still.
Yeah, catch up.
I can't. Yeah. I physically can't catch up to you.
It's mind blowing, isn't it?
I know. When you told me the first time we were gonna do this, I was like, yeah, can I do that at 10 at night? You're like, yeah, that's like fucking lunchtime the next day for me. And my mind was just like, so the next day?
Yeah.
Is that fucking possible?
Slow down. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think now the kids are getting a bit older. We can sort of step back into.
That's cool though. Like, you don't have to. You could always you just keep doing what you're doing as long as you're making money and you're doing something that you like to do. Like, you don't have to do anything else. Fuck it. Like, to a degree, it's just whatever you want to do with your life. Like, if you want to spend more time with your kid and still print cool stuff and still get paid, why not do that all the time?
It. Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you weren't, well, I mean, you've been doing it for a long time, but if you weren't printing, what do you think you would have been doing? Like, if you didn't get told, hey, I got a screen printing job for you, what would you have done?
I have no idea. I probably would have just went and got an apprenticeship. I always liked the idea of being a sparky electrician. So probably that.
I love that you called it Sparky.
Yeah. I would have made shit blow up,
I would have burned things down.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't be here. I probably would have been electrocuted by now. So.
Well, good. I'm glad you picked printing.
Yeah.
What are some of the places that you go and look for inspiration printing wise? I mean, I know we talked about YouTube, but is there specific ones on Instagram or Facebook and stuff that you like to look at? It doesn't have to be printing related.
Yeah, okay. There's
pull out your phone. Come on.
Phone. Yeah. There's some artists I'm into at the moment who they do that traditional line art, black and white stuff, which is the irony there. We do lots of fully colored stuff, but
well, that's the thing though too, is we appreciate as printers when a good artist can convey everything that needs to be conveyed in a 1 or 2 color.
Yeah.
It's not, when people hear that, they think, oh, you're just being lazy and you don't want to print a bunch of colors. It's no, dude, if you can make a badass design as a 1 color or a 2 color, totally do that.
Yeah. I still think the my favorite screen, the first one, the underbase, is my favorite image to see out of the whole process.
Well, that's the thing too, is you can print, you can do an 8, 9, 10 color print, and then sometimes when you put that, say it's a black shirt and you put the underbase on, you look at it, you're like, we could stop now. This is exactly Like this is everything they're trying to convey. It's just a one color and it looks awesome. Like we don't have to do the rest of these colors. It's just funny, like, because I feel like the end customer a lot of times ends up seeing it as more colors means I'm doing a cooler print and you know, this and this. It's like, dude, like I don't think that's necessarily the truth.
No,
I think
it's not always right. No.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes they overdo it.
Yeah, exactly. I've felt that way with some of the work I've done. I thought I should have toned it back a bit, because on the jobs where Si would give us the black and white art, it looks amazing as is, and I have felt, have I, you know, why?
Yeah.
Why did I do it? So,
the funny thing is,
it's
we have a thing where like we get art from people who don't know how to do t-shirt art all the time.
Yep.
Like, you know, they just send us art or whatever. And I always just like say out loud, I'm like, oh, let's like, as you're the artist making this, like, I'm going to emboss the shit out of this. Like everything has a fucking halftone or a shade to it or a shine.
Yep.
It's like, stop doing this. Like,
it's definitely one of the things it's a pet hate of mine as well. You can see which pieces of art have been designed for purely digital media.
Right. Or they put a drop shadow on everything.
Yep.
And it's like,
and it's like
stop doing that.
Can we get that print and make it a tiny pocket logo? It's just going to look like a
just
bird
mush
scat on your shirt. Yeah.
We get that all the time too, where they'll take the back print, which is like full of detail, and then they send you a mock-up and they just took that and made it 3 inches on the front. And it's like they're like, yeah, this is fine, right? Like it looks good on this mock-up I made. It's like you took Photoshop and just dropped that. Like that doesn't mean it's printable.
No.
Like with the same halftone size we're doing it on the back, if we did that on the front, it would just be like the person's face would be 3 of the halftone dots. Like
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You got to change it up.
It's not gonna work, dude. So
Yeah.
what were some of these artists you were talking about?
Look, I'm not going to be able to pronounce their names properly, but Timur Khaburov, Timurkhabirov.
And that's on Instagram.
Yeah. He's he does a lot of that line art, black and white stuff, but he's also there's a few there where he throws color in it. It's really muted. I think it doesn't need, like what you were saying, it doesn't need the color in it. But at the same time, I'd love to get my hands on art like that and then do a color thing as well, because I've been enjoying doing that. So another one I forgot or they hadn't posted for a while. Dead Inside Ink. He's really cool too. Again, it's really dark stuff. Maybe I've got the subconscious is a little bit.
I'm gonna check these out, and I'm gonna be like, "What the hell is he into?"
Yeah. Even our kids. So if we're waiting somewhere, we'll sit and we'll go searching through. They're right into art as well. So.
That's awesome, though. Are you teaching them how to print or anything, or showing them?
They know how to print. They print. I've seen them do better prints than some proper print shops. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I got a 9-year-old, and she can print the shit out of anything. So
dude, you gotta teach them now, man. She's gonna surpass you.
Yeah. And she's amazing. She's just sometimes I go looking for the iPad. She's already up there drawing on it. So
that's awesome.
I think it's definitely carried into her. So.
Why Black Dog Ink? Did you have a black dog?
I did, yeah. For 14 years, he was our silent shed partner. We just hung out and
ate way too much plastisol.
He used to walk in it and leave little pink footprints everywhere. So, I think he was one of the reasons why I had to have a cleaner workspace. That's
good.
Yeah, he was like the the canary, dust canary, I guess. When he laid down in certain spots, you could tell.
Time to clean the shop.
Yeah. He'd get up and he'd look like snow. So, but yeah,
awesome.
he was. I think, it was just a bit of an homage to him.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and he's our logo. And I ended up, I wasn't gonna get another dog because he was next level. And then I think it was a couple of years past.
Because you have another black dog, don't you?
I do, and he looks exactly the same. And that was because I saw him and went, I got to get him. Within 2 hours, we were out there and we brought home another rescue dog that looked exactly the same.
That's
but
crazy.
Are totally different. They, he's a shithead.
He's not the next level awesomeness of the first one.
No, but he's got his, he's cool. He's a dog. He's more of a dog. The first one, he was a human. So.
The other one was like a best friend. This one's just a fucking shitting, eating creature that walks around. Yeah, he'll stare straight into your eyes when you say, don't piss on that, and he'll just piss on it.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, I appreciate you doing this with me.
Yeah, thank you. It's,
like I said,
amazing.
I think your printing is awesome. So keep definitely doing what you're doing.
Cheers.
Yeah.
There's another Sasquatch in the pipeline too. I'll print one up.
I'm fucking all for it, man. I'll show it off like it's my own.
Yeah. Unreal.
Like, check out this next level of manual printing. I do too.
That's cool.
All right, dude. I was gonna say have a good night, but have a good next day because you're fucking time traveler.
Yeah, I'm getting back into work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just your lunch break.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What's going on over there? So
yeah. All right, man. I'll see you later.
Cool. Awesome, man. Thank you.
See ya.